Ryan and I met several years ago, and he came into one of my original boardroom masterminds, and we've talked about this several times. He's been at my house. At that time, he was a little bit of a different guy. He was a little bit lost, kind of not on the path that he is now. I mean, he's a rock star now. But at that time, we knew even then that he had all the ability to be a rock star. He just needed to go down his path to get there. And what a path it has been. This guy is a force to be reckoned with like no other. Just in the last couple years, I mean, his authority and his profile and his network and the people that he is now nationally and internationally recognized is just like no other. He is not only is he a machine, but he is one of the biggest givers that I've ever seen. Selflessly just gives so much information, brings so much value to so many people. And by the way, he is a fucking badass at it as well. He's not just out there blowing sunshine at people's ass. I mean, his handle is the hardcore closer. This guy knows how to get it done. He knows how to teach people how to sell. He knows how to teach people how to get the deal, how to close the sale, how to bring value to people's lives. And that is a message that has attracted, like I said, millions and millions of people to him, well-deserved, because they're being trained by one of the best. In fact, I will tell you one of the things I'm most excited about, that being a part of networks like this and boardroom is people are action takers. Ryan and I are back there kind of talking a lot about what's going on in our businesses, and we are cooking up something for our tribe to teach people in our world how to sell and how to close better than they've ever learned, that I'm really excited about now. We are going to rock some people's worlds and show them what it really looks like from a sales and acquisition and buying process, and how to just kind of put this bitch on a whole nother level. So without any further ado, everybody on your feet. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome my friend, Mr. Ryan Stewman, to the stage. Give him a round of applause. Let me hear you. Get him, baby.
Holy shit, that light is bright. Wow, they said it was going to be bright when I got up here. Watch, my glasses will go dark. See, I came prepared. So they're calling me an influencer now, and I didn't really know what that meant until I came to an event and saw Kent in a t-shirt with tattoos on his arm. It's like, oh shit, I really am influencing people. Last time I saw him, he was wearing a suit. So that's awesome, that's awesome. All right, so today I've put my smart person glasses on because I'm going to give you guys a physics lesson. Here's how this is going to happen. I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes talking to you guys with something that you can actually do. Like not tomorrow, but like tonight, on the flight home, on your way home. I'm going to give you actionable things that you can do that aren't going to cost you very much money. You're not going to have to go out and invest a ton of money, so you're going to want to make sure you get your notepads and stuff ready. We'll spend about 30 minutes talking about that. Then I'm going to take your questions for about 30 minutes. So as I'm talking, I want you guys to be thinking about what I can help you with, whether it's sales, marketing, business, mindset. I'm not going to take the time to talk about where I came from or who I am. I'm just going to get into the lesson here because I think that's what matters. It's not what I've come from or anything like that that matters. It's how I can help you guys. Is that cool? Yeah. All right, awesome. So I'm going to give you guys a physics lesson. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. Well, I never finished the 9th grade, so the 8th grade was the last year that I was in school. And I wasn't really interested in school, but I was always interested in learning. I just felt like the things that they taught in school weren't really the things that I needed to learn, right? They weren't teaching business, taxes, they didn't even teach how to be a fucking adult. You know what I mean? So it didn't really make sense for me to stay in school, so I went to work. Later on in life, I never figured I'd be a teacher and a writer. I have like 10 best-selling books, a blog that's been read by millions of people. I've had 16,000 students come through our online academy. It's like, who'd have thought? The same thing that I ran away from as a kid, I'd end up becoming as an adult. Isn't that what they say in the movies, right? Like the same thing that you once feared, you became, like the abuser or something like that. So anyway, well, so I want to give you guys a physics lesson in power versus force, okay? It even sounds weird. I've given this talk to probably 15,000 people this year. I've been on the road pretty heavily. I've spoke at probably all your favorite gurus events in the last year, which has been pretty cool, right? And so every time that I give this, it's always weird because I'm up here talking about a physics lesson and I never even went through a physics class. But what I'm going to say today is going to change the way that you think about life. And I have this simple saying that we use in our company and really with our tribe of people that are around us. We say, when you change your mind, you change your life. And today I'm going to change your mind about some things in business. And it's going to change your entire life because it's been my experience that once you get your money right, you can get everything else right. Anybody ever experienced that? Right? The more money you got, it's not the more problems you get, it's the more problems you can solve. And I know I'm a problem solver, so I know every time I solve a problem, I get paid. Right? So one of the big problems that a lot of you face is you're out there you're forcing life to happen. And I'm going to teach you the difference between power and force because you want to get on the power side of life. Would you rather live a forceful life or a powerful life? Like, just think about those two words right there, okay? So force is immediate, right? If I force this box to move, it's doing it immediately, right? Like, if I want to mentally power that thing to move, I'm going to have to watch a YouTube video, probably read a book or two, figure some shit out, and stare at it for a while. It's going to be a while before it happens, right? It's going to take a while for the stuff to take place. I can probably eventually move it, right? It may take a decade of staring at it and some help, maybe some string attached to it and a magic act, but I could eventually move it. But most people don't have the patience to stare at something for 10 years. We want everything right now. We want immediate results, so we live on the force side of life. For example, when it comes to sales, right, we're cold calling people, right? I fucking hate that. I know you're thinking, dude, you're a salesman. Yeah, I did the shit 20 years ago when that was the only option we have. I'm not going to do it today. I'm not going to bother people. Who here likes to be bothered, right? Who here likes to be bothered by salespeople? Who here likes to buy stuff? I love buying shit. Yeah, if you don't raise your hand, you're lying to yourself, or you're terrible at sales. One of the two is you sell how you buy, in all reality. If you're a stingy buyer, you're going to have a hard time getting people to believe that it's easy to spend money with you. But so for me, I see people making cold call, people knocking on doors. Remember 20 years ago when someone knocked on your door, you're like, oh shit, we got company, right? We have people coming over, this is awesome. Now somebody knocks on your door, you're like, get the gun, somebody's at the fucking door, who is that? The nerve of somebody just to show up unannounced. That better not be my mom, right? Like, that's how we are. So things have changed, but most people are still trying to force things to happen. They're still knocking on doors. They're still cold calling people. They're still going to network events where everybody shows up with like empty pockets going, I don't know, I thought you had it. I don't know, I thought you had it. It's like showing up to the concert, nobody's got the fifth of Jack Daniels they were supposed to bring. You know, I thought you brought the whiskey. No, I thought you brought it. Well, son of a bitch, right? That's how most networking events are. They're totally disappointing. Right? You get fired up, you're listening to like Grant Cardone tapes on the way there, maybe Eric Thomas, and you show up at the network event, you're like, yeah, this is my $1 million mixer right here. And you show up and they're like, oh shit, these guys don't have nothing going. Oh, y'all were expecting me to bring the leads. Fuck, we are all doomed. Anybody ever been there? I've been there more times than I want to. But we're trying to force things to happen, right? We're trying to show up at an event and immediately get a result. We're trying to make a cold call to somebody and immediately get a result. We're trying to show up at somebody's front door and interrupt them from doing life and get a result, and we wonder why we don't get the results that we want in our life. Those aren't the things that people like to do. We're forcing them to engage with us. We're forcing them to interrupt their thought pattern. And although it's immediate, right, because if we make enough cold calls, surely we'll do a deal. Sales is a numbers game. If we knock on enough doors, surely somebody will answer and let us in, right, because sales is a number game. But I don't want to do that. It seems like such a hard way of doing life. And it seems like if you're forcing things to happen, if you're always cold calling, if you're always door knocking, then you have to continue running that pattern. It isn't like I just cold called till I didn't have to anymore. That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It's like an addiction. You got to keep feeding that demon. Well, today I'm going to talk to you about something different, how to get on the power side of life. If you think about, like, for me, again, 8th grade education, so bear with me, the most powerful thing that I can think of would be like the sun. Right? Like it powers our planet, powers the universe. It's hot as fuck. It seems very powerful, right? Like plants grow, we're alive because of it. It's pretty powerful. Well, it took 6.8 billion years for the sun to generate the power that it has today, right? So like the biggest, most powerful thing that I can think of took more time than I would care to count and more money than a lot of people have, right? Like it's just like a ton, 6.8 billion years to generate that power, but it generates power for everything. Everything comes from it. Well, in our lives, it just takes 6 months to a year to really generate power. And I'm going to teach you the things to do that. But what happens is, during that 6 months to a year, a lot of people give up and they go back to forcing things to happen because they want immediate results. You see, for a long time, the sun was like a black hole and then a black star, or again, 8th grade education, whatever process they go through before it just became the sun, and then, we show up here on Earth through evolution or Big Bang or whatever you want to believe, right? So to get on the power side of life, today I'm going to give you some power moves, and this is where you're going to want to take notes. I'm going to give you some things that you can do to make power moves in your marketplace, but I want you to understand it doesn't happen immediately. Power isn't something that happens immediately. Think about powerful people, like a king. A king is a very powerful person, right? But someone isn't just born a king. They're a prince, and there's a lineage, and probably wars and battles and all this other shit that they've got to go through and training in order to be a king. We see, Prince William right now, right? He had to go and be in the military, and he's had to go be like a duke or whatever the hell they call that stuff over there for a long time, right? Before he steps into power. We look at the president of the United States, arguably the most powerful person on the planet. That doesn't happen to somebody overnight. That's somebody who has a track record and it's been there, and it's usually somebody who's very old. I think you have to be a minimum of 35 years old before they'll even trust you with that amount of power, right? And so I want you guys to think about making power moves in your marketplace, but you can't think about it happening immediately. But here's the great thing. Once the power is generated, it attracts. Think about it. Kings or leaders, they attract people that want to be in the military. They attract people that want to defend the throne. Presidents attract other world leaders to negotiate with them and do business with them. We attract leads our way. We attract people that we want to do business with. We attract a better network. But most people think attraction as in like law of attraction. Well, if I just put it out there, it'll come back to me. I'm telling you, it's not what happens. You need to build power in order to attract people because power is attractive, right? The only reason we like the Kardashians and find them attractive is because they're powerful people. And some of you are going, we don't include me in that statement, but whatever, right? The reason why we like Kent is a powerful person, right? He's done all these deals and spent all this time to become powerful in our industry, so we're attracted here. He didn't have to cold call you guys and bother you to get here. You came here. He's been doing the work for enough time to where he attracted you guys here. Same in my business for me. So to be attractive and to generate power, the first thing that I can tell you to do is start a podcast. Some of you right now went, oh, hell no. And that's okay. The good news is, no matter how handsome or beautiful you may or may not be, nobody sees your face in a podcast, right? So you have literally no excuse. You're nervous? You're just talking to a recorder. But here's the good news. Nobody's going to listen to your shit anyway because it takes a while to build power, right? Like power doesn't happen overnight, so you're not going to be Ed Milet. Right? Ed Milet, you're not going to be the guy that puts out one podcast and the next thing you know, 1 million people are listening to it a day. That's not going to happen to us, right? We're not that lucky. But I can tell you this about Ed. If you know who he is, he spent 20 years working for World Financial Group to generate a whole lot of power and following before he stepped into that podcast, right? Back in his day, power moves were cold calling and forcing things to happen because the internet didn't exist yet. But these days, we have a different path that's much quicker and it's everlasting because the first podcast that you do tomorrow will be there forever. I still have people that come into my funnels today from podcasts that I did 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Why? They're still there forever. I have people that opt into our list every single day from blog posts and websites and interviews that I did 10 years ago because it's still there. So the things that you do today, people won't listen to it in the beginning, but people in the future will. It takes a while to get power on Google. If you write an article today, it might be 2 or 3 years before Google even indexes the damn thing. But we live in this instant gratification, and I get it. I want it immediately, if not sooner as well. I understand. But the truth is, in order for power to generate, it takes time. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start a podcast. Here's how you do it. You go on your iPhone. If you have an Android, you go buy an iPhone, and you download Anchor.fm. Right? It's a free app, 100% free. And check this out. All you have to do is just hit a record button and talk into the phone, and when you stop, it turns it into a podcast. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to be Andy Frisella and have fancy equipment or any of that shit. Trust me, I've done over 1,000 podcasts, all from my iPhone. Every single podcast I've ever done, I'm a top 25 podcast every single day of the week. You can go in iTunes under business and you will find my shit in the top 25 or 50. Been there for 4 years. I do it all from my phone. I record my Rewire and my Hardcore Closer podcast from my iPhone. Anchor FM's 100% free. Here's what you do. Instead of making cold calls, you reach out to the gatekeeper and you say, hey, I'm Ryan Stewman. I host a local podcast, and I showcase business owners just like yourself. I think what you guys are doing in the marketplace is absolutely amazing, and I'd like to give my audience exposure to what you guys are doing by interviewing your CEO. Is there a time I could set up to come by and make that happen? Then all of a sudden, you're not cold calling nobody. All of a sudden, you're showing up with value. You've got an audience. You've got a podcast. Nobody fucking listens to it. Your audience is your mom, but they don't know that. Sales, right? They're on a need-to-know basis. That's how it works. But all of a sudden, instead of arguing with the gatekeeper and having to do all that other shit, you're showing up offering value. Well, here's what I do on podcasts. If you go to my mastermind, we call it the Apex Entourage, probably 200 of our members are podcasters. Because when I do podcast interviews, really what I'm doing is I'm going to offer somebody an opportunity to do business with us if they're a fit. So when I go on podcast interviews and have podcasts, we do the little podcast Q&A thing. And afterwards, it's like, oh, hey, by the way, I really like what you're up to. Have you ever thought about, and then I'll go into my pitch. But at that point, I've given them something of value. I built some rapport with them without having to pitch them or anything else while I'm on the podcast. And I'll simply offer them if they want to do business with us. Or sometimes I might wait a little bit, and when they send me the podcast and ask me to share it with my friends on Facebook, it gives me an opportunity to follow up with them and then, again, proceed forward and ask if they'd like to join or enroll in one of our programs. But do you guys see that as a power move versus having to force things to happen? Could you see yourself doing that? I mean, literally, it's a podcast. It's free. All you got to do is talk into your phone. Here's how you come up with content for it. You guys ready for this? It's called the E3 method. Super easy. We all have experiences every day. That's the first E. We have experiences every day. You got to get good at storytelling. If there's one thing that I'm good at, it's good at telling stories. You got to get good at storytelling. So we have experiences. You have to extract the lesson from that experience that you have every day. This is how you create all your content. So easy. You have an experience, you extract the lesson from it, and then you educate your audience on what happened. All you got to do is get good at telling stories, and it could be anything. You know how motivational people are these days? There I was at the red light, hands on the steering wheel, thinking about grinding hard tomorrow and making $7 flipping My Little Ponies like Gary Vaynerchuk on a Friday. And all of a sudden, right, we just can tell stories if you get good at stories. Y'all were feeling that, right? You were like, oh, shit, yeah, he's selling My Little Ponies like Gary Vaynerchuk, right? But that's the truth, right? And here's going back to this. With your podcast, having these experiences, you can just, if you don't have people to interview and you want to have like my podcast, I don't interview people, right? I just have a podcast where I share my thoughts. Some of you might want to go that route as well. But for your Facebook posts and everything else, that E3 method works. For your videos, Facebook posts, any of that stuff, that E3 method works. The second power move I'll give you guys is writing a blog post. Now, a lot of you just went, well, I don't know how to write a blog, blah, blah, blah. I got you. Just like you didn't think you could podcast till I hooked you up, right? I got you. Don't worry. There's a website called medium.com. It's absolutely free. You can sign up at medium.com, and all of a sudden, you become a member of the press. Isn't that fucking cool, right? Most people don't know this, but medium.com is open to everybody. Like when you see an article from Medium, you think of it as like Huffington Post or something of that nature, right? You're like, oh shit, such and such has a column on Medium. But dude, it's open to anybody. Just like Facebook. You got an email address, they will give you a column on there. They do not check anybody. Trust me, I have one, so I know. The thing with Medium, though, is it's just like having a podcast. Now, all of a sudden, you're a member of the press. You can interview the CEO, or you can interview the local homeowners association, or the local top salesperson, or realtor, or whoever you're trying to infiltrate that network. Now, all of a sudden, you can interview them. But some of you I know, damn it, I'm really good at handling objections, if you haven't got that out of this so far, because some of you I know right now are going, but I can't write. I got you. You can record it all. You can go in and interview somebody, or even if you just want to talk an article, you can record it all on your phone. There's a recurring theme here. You can record it all on your phone, and you can upload it to a website called rev.com. It's $1 per minute. They have actual live human beings that are court stenographers. I think that's what they're called. Again, that 8th grade education settling in. But the people that don't have letters on their keyboard that sit in court, I have seen a few times in my life, unfortunately. And those folks actually listen to whatever it is that you're saying on the recording, and they type it for you, so it's actually done very well. You have to make a few edits to it, all of a sudden copy, paste, upload to Medium, and all of a sudden you've got a blog post. So you don't even have to be good at writing. Can you talk? Yes. Everybody in the room, yes, right? Collectively, yes. Okay, just I want to make sure. Maybe you couldn't talk. I was going to give you another example. So medium.com. So all of a sudden now you can have a podcast and you can be a blogger, because I didn't say you had to pick one or the other. I got here on this stage because I did it all, right? Like, and I know what it's like to build a podcast and nobody listened to it. My second podcast I ever did still has 4 fucking listens. You know what's real fucking sad about that? Is I've been telling people on stage that it only has 4 fucking listens for like 2 years now, and nobody in the audience has ever thought to listen to the damn thing. You guys, where is the love? But I know what it's like to have a blog post that nobody shares. But guess what? Those blog posts and those podcasts only helped me get better. They were just practice, and thank God nobody listened to it, because it fucking sucked back then anyway. You know, I wasn't the professional that the polished individual that I am up here today. I wasn't that way. Back there was lots of uhs and ums and you know, shit that we just do as human beings when we're learning and practicing our craft. So the best thing to do is not wait around. The best thing to do is start generating power today. So I gave you medium.com, rev.com, and anchor.fm, right? So you got a podcast. You got a column inside an esteemed new, and listen, and Medium's not the only place that you can do that. Look around. The next thing, you want to get people talking about you. That's a power move, right? It's a lot cooler for Kent to stand up here and say, you know, all these great things about me that I owe him $100 for backstage. You guys didn't see that part though, but all these great things that he said about me, if I'd have came up here and said all those things about me, half of you would have probably left, right? The cool half would have stayed, but half of you would have probably left. So, and to get other people talking about you is a power move. So how do you get other people talking about you? Well, there's a website that's free. You guys getting the theme here? It's called helpareporter.com. I call it HARO for short. It's kind of confusing till you get to know the language there, but it's Help a Reporter Out is what it used to be called. So it's HARO for short, but it's helpareporter.com. All you got to do is sign up as a source. Write that down. You want to make sure you sign up as a source. They will send you emails as frequent as you select. I have them send me an email 3 times a day. Here's why. Because I may not read the other 2. I may not read all 3, but I want an opportunity for them to be at the right place, the right time when I have time every day, right? But what they do is they have a bunch of reporters that are looking for sources. And they send an email out every day with like hundreds of articles that are going in Forbes, Entrepreneur, Huffington Post, any publication, TheStreet.com, CNBC. I've been on all of them, all from HARO. And all you have to do in the email is click the story that you want to contribute to and leave a quote. And then when you leave a quote, they quote you in the publication. Not always, but sometimes. And if you fill out enough of them, which is why I get 3 a day, because for 2 years I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and from 4:45 to 5:45 in the morning, I would sit there answering HARO emails, building power. But now I've been featured in I've been in Forbes at least 1,000 times, to the point where it's not even fun when they're like, you're in Forbes again. We're like, here we go with that old shit, right? But it's because of HARO. I've been an entrepreneur, Street.com, Huffington Post, like you pretty much name it. I've been in everything but the Onion. And it's all free from HARO, just filling it out. Now, you don't have to wake up and be as dedicated as me, but it's nice. I'm going to buy a Lamborghini later this evening when I land in my private jet back in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't suck. I'm being dead serious, too. I'm not saying that to be funny. It doesn't suck. And I really am doing those things when I get back in town. And so, but I dedicated the time to generate the power to get where I am right now. Okay, the next thing is you got to set up a Google alert. So write that down, because HARO's not going to tell you that they wrote about you. So you need to set up a Google alert with your name, so that when you do get published in one of these publications, Google sends you an email that says, hey, check it out. You were in Forbes, so that you can share it with social media and be like, check me out. I'm in Forbes. They like me, right? That's a big power move, because then people go, oh, shit, he's in Forbes. He must know something. I know how Forbes don't do background checks. I know that much. So, yeah, once you know how to skate around the system, it works everywhere. Kind of like knowing the social media algorithm. So check it out. Now I've hooked you up with a podcast, hooked you up with your own column on Medium. I've taught you how to get other people talking about you, but I haven't taught you how to get any information on how to make a sale. So this is the last piece I'm going to give you in Power Moves. You got to start making a list and collecting data. According to The Economist, which is an esteemed magazine, last year they said that data is the most valuable resource on the planet. It's more valuable than oil. If you think about oil, once we extract it from the ground, turn it into gasoline and burn it, it's gone forever, right? With data, we extract it once. I can sell you a book. I can sell you a digital product. I can sell you a ticket to an event. A year later, I can sell you a ticket to a mastermind. I can sell you another book when I write another book. If I don't have your data, I can't do that stuff. I can't keep giving you offers whether you want to take them or not, right? If I don't have your data, I can't do that. So if you're going to be a powerful person, and I know this firsthand, the reason why I'm on this stage is because for 5 years, I spent time mining data and generating leads for 5 years until I had enough leads to where I had an email list to where I could mail them and get a room full of people like this. As soon as I start getting room, if you want to be on stages like this, the best thing that you can do is fill up your own room and have people on your stage. It's a power move, by the way, write that down. And so the thing is, if you want to collect data, which you do, because look, Amazon, all these sites that are the biggest websites on the internet, the biggest companies in the country right now, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, they're all making their money right now from data. Facebook doesn't charge us anything, but they charge advertisers access to our data. It's worth $500 billion. Apple, most of their fortune is in the data that they mine from the apps and from the downloads and from the podcasts and from the listens and all that stuff. First $1 trillion company. The second $1 trillion company, Amazon, their data is what gives you the upsell. Oh, you brought a toothbrush? Oh, well, here's some toothpaste, and so on and so forth, right? So we got to be able to monetize that data too. When we're on a podcast, and we want to give people a call to action so that they can go get our book or our lead magnet or our free video or whatever so that we have their data so that we can let them know when our next podcast is going to happen, or that we can let them know how to follow us on social media, or we can let them know when our next article on Medium's coming out. We have to be able to collect data. Worst case scenario, let's say that you own a business and Amazon gets in the same business that you're in, and you're in trouble because they got a lot more money than you do, no matter how much you have. Best thing that you can do is have a list of data to sell to Amazon. Hey, on my way out, I'd like to sell you my business, and here's the data. If you don't have the data, they'd never buy your business because all they're trying to do is buy the data to monetize it anyway. That is the oil money of the future. And that's coming from a guy that is from and lives in Texas where oil money is a really big deal. The oil money in the future is collecting data. Now, a lot of you in this room probably heard of a sales funnel. Do y'all know what that is? That's a power move too. You got to have that to be able to collect data. But it's complicated, isn't it? Right? You got to go and watch training videos and learn softwares and figure out how to make offers and videos and what pictures to use. It can be a real pain in the ass. I know. Back when I started doing funnels, we had to download WordPress templates and code that shit, right? I was not cut out for that. Dude, it used to take me 3 to 4 months working 5 or 6 hours a day because that's all the focus I could put on it in order to make a sales funnel. Well, so last year, a software that I launched called Phone Sites. We created it because we wanted something that was easier than, I like ClickFunnels, we use it. I like Lead Pages, it's something that we've used over the years too. But for most people, we don't have the time to become a ClickFunnels expert. We don't have the time to become an Infusionsoft technician. Some of us that are internet marketers, we have to use that, and that's okay. But if you're one of those people that just needs a website with a house on it, or just needs to put an offer out on social media, or on your podcast, you want to give them a call to action, hey, go get this free thing, or make sure you're on our list. Same thing on your articles and Medium and everything else. There's a website you can go to called phonesites.com. Again, I'm the founder and creator of the company, just for complete transparency. But on phonesites.com, I'll give you a free 2-week trial. It comes with, you can make unlimited web pages. It's super easy. You don't have to download an app. You don't have to go and learn coding. You don't have to go through a training. There's not even a video that shows you how to do it. You'll figure it. It's like the iPhone. You took it out of the box, and all of a sudden you know how to work the damn thing. Remember that the first time you ever seen one? That's how this software is going to work for you. Go in there, and we'll give you a 2-week free trial where you can actually go in there, build one in about 10 minutes or less, right from your phone. Build one in 10 minutes or less, post it on social media, run an ad to it, whatever it is that you want to do. Go ahead and let you generate some leads for free so you can see how awesome it is and how easy it is to use. Plus, we have 24-hour support and everything else. So when you're doing a podcast, when you're on a medium.com, when you're on an interview, you want to have a way to drive the people that are listening to be able to collect that information so you can keep in touch with them. Right? My list right now is 85,000 people. We like to scrub it pretty often because if you're not reading our emails, why should we pay to send them to you, you know? Especially with that many. It's very expensive. And so the fact that I've collected all those emails over the years allows me to fill up rooms. It allows me to, if I have a house for sale, like I flip houses just like many of you guys do. If I have a house for sale, I can blast it out to my list. But if I didn't have a list, it would suck to have to call every broker in town, right? It would suck to have to go around and spam Facebook groups and everything else. So when you get linked up with phone sites, you have a place to send your data. You can compartmentalize it. And on top of that, you get a free autoresponder that'll send text and emails out as many as you possibly want for years. You can set it up for 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the future, so they will never stop getting your emails no matter what. Which is great for you, not so much for them sometimes, but it's always awesome for us, the salespeople. So here's the big question, and then I'm gonna let you guys ask me some questions. How many, just be honest, how many of you, when you leave here, actually going to go out and do one of those 4 power moves that I told you to do? Raise your hand. All right. What'd you say? That's what I'm saying. I like that right there. Starting tomorrow. Man of action. Okay? So let's show our hands one more time, real quick. How many people are actually going to do this? Look around. Okay, you can put your hands down. Those people that had their hands up, what if they're in your marketplace? What if while you're still forcing things to happen, they're figuring out how to move shit with their mind? There's got to be a byproduct of that somewhere, right? Right? What if they're the ones that are putting SEO in your marketplace? What if they're the ones that are building the Facebook audience in your marketplace? 10 years ago, people told me I was crazy trying to do business on Facebook. You mean Facebook? That's for like your friends and family. Why would you ever want to make sales on there? I was making $3 million a month in mortgage sales on there every month back in 2009. Nobody else was doing it. So you saw only about 3/4 of the room said that they would take action. And if I'm being honest, and I'm not disrespecting you guys, only about half of them will really do it and stick to it. Maybe 10% will actually stick to it and be doing it a year from now. 1,000 podcasts don't happen overnight, you know, I can promise you that. But those that do, they'll be very powerful in the future, and you'll wish. It's never too late to start, but you'll wish that you'd have started today or tomorrow as well. Really do. At this point, for me, because I've been consistent for 10 years, I have 2,500 videos on YouTube. I have 3,000 blog posts. I've been featured in over 1,000 podcasts that I've either been interviewed on or have done myself. I've been in over 1,500 different publications because of Haro. It doesn't happen overnight, but now it's really fucking hard to miss me once you find me. It really is, and that's a power move, right? You're like, shit, I will buy you if you will just quit following me everywhere I go. I will buy your shit, Stewman. That's all we need. We just need you to tap out. So, all right, one last thing, and then I'm going to let you guys ask me questions. But I love doing this because I want to see the look on your face. So everybody stand up real quick. Let's play all in for just a minute. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Then we'll take Q&A. So I love this. So here's what I want you to do. Just humor me for a minute. Just humor me. I know seminars, we're about to go to lunch, man, but I promise you, if you will do what I'm about to share with you, you will feel good as fuck in a few minutes, right? All right, you guys have that box of blunts from that dispensary down the street? No. You'll feel better than that. I promise. I've seen it happen. Tens of thousands of people this year. So here's what I want you to do. I just want you to do exactly what I say. Listen to my voice. Don't overthink it, okay? First of all, everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes. Relax, all right? And here's what I want you to do. I want you to look over your right shoulder. And I want you to look down at the ground. And I want you to picture the most elite version of yourself. Like the person that you know in the back of your mind, if you exercised, ate, worked, and had relationships the way that the best, and you were just the best version of yourself. I want you to look over at yourself, right? I want you to have this visualization. What do your feet look like, right? Your toes, they are all toenails there. Or do you have hair on your toes, or are they wax, right? I want you to look up at your ankles, your calves. Do your calves, are they muscular? Are they soft? Ladies, are they smooth as dolphin skin? Fellas, are they hairy, shaved? Right? The knees, thighs, do you have ripped quads? Ladies, do you have nice ass? Gentlemen, whatever you want there, right? Right? Do you have abs? Just think, the most elite version. If you were the bad motherfucker that you know you could be, and you were the most elite version, keep your eyes closed, standing right next to you, picture yourself at your peak, right? Picture yourself. See those abs, see your pecs, or ladies, and see your shoulders, see your traps. Would you have hair? Right? Would you have wrinkles? What do you look like being the most elite version of yourself? Right? Visualize that person. Now think about this. What kind of relationships would you have? If you were that person, you were the best version of yourself, right? You were the full-on playing all in. You had money. Money was not an issue. You had your health. Health was not an issue. You felt loved. You gave other people love. What would it feel like to be that person? Imagine what it feels like right now to have billions, I said billions of dollars in your bank account. You'll never be out of money ever. Why? Because you've been the most elite version of yourself. Think of what it feels like to be loved by everyone in your life. Nobody shows up with their hand out. They show up with their hands open because they want to give you a hug. They love you not because you have money. They're not your friends or your close family because they have money. They love you because you are the most elite version of yourself and you deserve to be loved. Imagine what it feels like to have great employees, to have a great referral network, to have a great team that supports you. Imagine what it's like to drive your dream car, have your dream house. Imagine what it's like not to have back pain, not to have to take vitamins, not to have to take pills, not to go to the doctor, not to have medicine, dialysis, any of that shit. Imagine that. Imagine if you just did the fucking work and became powerful, what you would look like there. Imagine that person. Because that's who God designed you to be. And the fact that you're not that person right now means that you can still become them and you got a long ways to go. I want you to visualize that person. That's who you were put on this planet to be. The vision is there in your mind. You know what your job is to be and what the results of it look like. Now here's what I want you to do. With your eyes closed, looking over your right shoulder, I want you to step your feet into the exact place where you saw the feet of the person that's the most elite version of yourself. Make that move right now. Make one step to the right and plant your feet exactly where they are. Now look forward at me with your eyes still closed and feel that. Feel what it would be like to be them. If you played all in and you became the most elite version of yourself, feel that for just a second. Here's the truth. You're only one step away, just like you did, from becoming the most elite version of yourself. You just have to make that step every single day and let the power generate, and you will, my friends, become the most elite version of yourselves. Open your eyes and feel that for a minute. It feels fucking good, doesn't it? Absolutely. I told you. I promised you, you feel good. Now we can all agree we got some work to do, right? Yeah. All right, let's take some questions, Chantel. Just let her know whatever question you want to ask. I'm open for anything. Oh. Yes, sir.
I just launched a podcast like 2 months ago or a month ago. It's been really good so far. What's your recommendation for how many episodes should I put out per week? Yeah, that's fine.
So what kind of podcast is it?
It's real estate, business, personal development, all that kind of stuff.
I'm sorry, do you interview people?
Yeah, mostly interview style, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would put out one a week.
Okay.
I have two podcasts that I do.
I've been putting 2 out, so.
Two out?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Why not be an overachiever, right?
Yeah.
The way that I look at it, though, is you're going to have a point where you're probably going to run out of shit to say, and you're going to wish you'd put them out once a week.
Yeah.
Trust me, 1,000 interviews later, they're like, tell us about yourself. Man, fuck me. I am tired of talking about me. Let me help you guys out, right? I said that when I came up here, too, right? It's like, never mind what I've been through. Let's just help you guys with the power moves. And so you run out of shit to say after a while, so it's better to space them out.
Sweet.
So that would be my advice.
We got 2 on the other side of the room.
Cool.
Hey, Ryan, thanks for your talk. The whole time you're up there, I was thinking, man, I do podcasts, I do blogs, I do Facebook. You should stop talking because you're giving away all the secrets.
You know what? It's just when I was in the mortgage business, I did mortgages for 10 years. I was really good at it. And the reason why I was really good at it is because I had this belief that if you just shake enough trees, right? When I was in the mortgage business, we didn't have tracking and all the stuff that we have today. We didn't have social media and everything else. But dude, I did cold calls. I knocked on doors. I sent out flyers. I went to networking meetings. I spoke. I bought lunches for realtors. I went to seminars, every single thing that I could do, because I always figure if I just get one lead from here and one lead from there and I'm doing 20 or 30 different things, I'll get 20 or 30 different leads, right? And that's the same method that we're doing now to make power moves. It's just online.
So my question for you is, I'm doing this right now, and creating content takes a lot of time. It could be overwhelming. So, yeah, like how do you manage to do all these things?
Well, that is a good question. I get that one a lot, actually. Forget my allergies up here. You know, I like to sit here and say that, well, here's what you got to do. You got to go focus on this, that, or the other. But a lot of it comes naturally to me because I've practiced it for so long. But that E3 thing that I shared with you guys, that method right there, I use that on everything, my podcast. I look every day, I look for experiences. And so with those experiences, I look to tell stories. My wife's sitting right here on the front row. My COO's sitting here on the front row. Who tells better stories than me? Nobody, right? They're both laughing because that's me. I'm always telling stories. Like, you guys won't believe what we did last night. That's like, I live life for that. And so that's what I do is I share those stories through the podcast and everything else. So instead of looking to write content, right, start looking for personal experiences that you've had, because that's why people are reading on Facebook and everything else anyway. It's your reality show, so start being real with them. Cool.
Hey, I have another question, actually, for me personally. I talked with our group yesterday about masterminds, the power of masterminds, what that means to you and your business. Can you talk a little bit about what you do in your business, the money you spend on masterminds, the value they bring to you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, wasn't very long ago, I was actually sitting in the same seat where you're at this event. Kent had sent me this fancy digital postcard that had a TV on it, and it was like, come to the boardroom meeting, the first one ever. And I was like, okay, cool. And I spent my last dollar. I was going through a divorce at the time, and I spent, this is 5 years ago, holy shit. I spent my last dollar to get here. And then when I got here, I smoked some of this good-ass Cali weed, and I broke out in hives and got all fucked up and had to go to the emergency room. True story, right? True story. Not only did I not have money to be at the damn meeting, I was itching like a motherfucker next to Kent. Shit, I looked like fucking Tyrone Bigham from the Dave Chappelle show, man. Shit. I shit you not, man. I spent my last dollar to get to a mastermind. And that's not the only time. I once spent my last $1,500 to go to Kevin Nation's house in Vegas. And when I got there, he said, we're gonna go out and do some like eating tonight and all this other shit. And I was praying that he was gonna pay for it because I couldn't afford it. I had stayed at everybody else stayed at like the Aria and shit like that. I stayed at like a Motel 6 and took Spirit red eye to get there for like $69 from Dallas, you know? Like, dude, Spirit, man, I'd rather ride the DART bus in Dallas, dude. That is a rough plane. Yeah, I've sacrificed a lot for these power moves, right? But I went there, by noon, I had a funnel running. By 3 in the afternoon, I'd made $25,000, right? That's the power of a mastermind. I didn't know how to fucking do that shit, but Kevin, Garrett, Jay White, and AJ Roberts all came together to help me out because they knew my situation, and I left there feeling rich as shit. You know what I mean? Like literally from last dollar to $25,000 within 24 hours. I didn't even have an offer before I went there. Saved my life. It showed me that this was possible. In my lifetime, I've spent over $1.2 million to be in masterminds like this. That's not counting airfare and hotels. I believed in it for 10 years now. The first time that I ever gave anybody money, it was that son of a bitch, Frank Kern. Y'all know him? He texted me this morning. He's like, how are things going? I'm like, just send me the fucking link, Frank. Hey, Ryan, what's up? Just send me the fucking link. But because of that, changed my life. It showed me what was possible, right? And I grew up in the banking business. People don't do masterminds in that industry. Right now, it's kind of a little bit more popular because we've made it mainstream because there's guys like Kent and Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and stuff leading the way. But, 10 years ago, it wasn't really a thing. But even in 2004, when I was doing mortgages, I hired Zig Ziglar's team to come in and train me how to be a better salesperson. I was fortunate enough to work with those guys before he passed away. That's kind of a highlight of my life, We actually lived 2 streets over from each other for a while. It's pretty cool. Some power moves. I showed up at church where he preached. See, since I was young. So I got to think about Zeke and got a little thrown up. But with the masterminds, right now I pay $100,000 a year to belong to 2 masterminds. And even at the level that I'm at, where people would let me belong to their thing for free or whatever, I still contribute because, I want to be just like everybody else, and I also know the power of it. So I don't think I would be here. I know I wouldn't be here. But here's the best part about masterminds. It's not the money you make. It's the connections that you make. I have, like my wife probably vouched for this. I think every friend I have has come from some program that I'm a part of. Well, if it wasn't for me being in a program, I wouldn't know you. I was actually working at a program when we met. So I would highly recommend them. Matter of fact, we were talking about this backstage. For those of you that at this event decide to join Kent's boardroom program, what I'd like to do, because I believe in it so much, is get together with Kent for a day or 2 and set up a sales boot camp for you guys, right? So if you decide to join and be a part of that, then So we'll put together how to talk to sellers, how to do power moves and attract them online, and how to become like the known resource. So that, wouldn't it be better if in your area, if people just called you as the go-to person when shit wasn't right for them in their housing situation? Even if you weren't the person that bought it from them, or if it wasn't a deal that you could fix, if you could just help enough people to where they all knew to come to you, right? Like, who do I do for this? You're like, oh, this realtor. Who for this? Oh, this contractor. Knowing that if you just keep handing out enough, then they'll start sending the stuff back to you, because that's really how it works, right? Like, who in here would love that, where they just know you as that person? Well, that's what we'll teach you over the course of a day or two. Depends on how long-winded Kent is. I think I could do it in a day. Might take two for the two of us. But whenever you guys get all signed up over the course of today, those of you that don't do this today, that's not an offer that I'll make again. And I just kind of threw it up here, but I'll commit to it. But only for the folks that come in here today, because I don't want it to be a huge thing. So just get with Kent's team or whatever. When you get in the boardroom, we'll set up the dates and let you guys know. But we'll make it worth your time, I promise. Plus, I'd like to see you guys in the boardroom again. You know, I've been involved with this. This is my second event that I've done with Kent this year. So we're probably going to be doing some more of this stuff and hanging out. I really look up to him. How many of you just love that guy? I really do. He's like he's not that much older than me, but he's like an older brother or a father figure to me. He really is. I'm adopted, so, I had a really shitty dad. He wasn't around. so I really I appreciate Kent. And it really, truthfully, you're looking at power moves taking places right here in front of the stage, because I just happen to now have kind of strategically set up a on-the-side business partner with someone that I've been trying to attract for years. You guys think about that, right? He'll tell you, 5 years ago when I was scratching my head, smoking fucking weed at the table, trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with me before I went to the emergency room, being in masterminds and shit has shaped me from. You were there too. You sat at the table. She had to sit across me going, this motherfucker is crazy. She had to. The difference was, though, I didn't stop. I mean, I stopped smoking weed, but I didn't stop, moving forward and going to masterminds and everything else. So I just kept at it, and kept making those power moves. So let's take one more question.
Yeah, we got two questions.
Okay, cool. Two more questions then.
Also, too, I wanted to tell you guys that I actually flew out to Dallas and did Ryan's training, and I'm telling you, it's bomb.
It's fucking
I'm on
awesome,
social
isn't it?
media the way I am because of what I learned in his class. So it's well worth it. Sign up for Boardroom, get into his class. I can't tell you, it's awesome. So
I don't say this much, but a lot of the people that that are big things online in the real estate world, I help them behind the scenes. There's so many people. My wife is all the time, why don't you take credit for this person? Because I didn't do the work. I just put the shit together for them. But there's lots of people that you see with hundreds of thousands of followers that make a shitload of money in the real estate business, that I help them behind the scenes put the stuff together. So.
Right, you know what? And it's on the other side of fear, right? We talked about that all weekend. Your action is on the other side of fear. Ryan scared the hell out of me at that meeting. Why? Because he calls himself the hardcore closer. He's all tatted up. I'm like, who the hell are you? He totally scared the hell out of me. And then we actually got on a phone call. And I got to know him a little bit more, and I was like, no, this dude's been through some shit. I read his books, saw his media, and I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm going to learn. And I learned, and it was really powerful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. It's awesome. That exercise you had us do was crazy. Thanks.
You're welcome.
But I think I missed the E3 method. I don't know if there was a 2 and 3 to it, but I missed those two.
Oh, sorry.
Somehow.
Yeah. So you have an experience is number one. You extract the lesson is the E2. And then you educate the audience is the third E. There's a book that I wrote called M3 Method. It's on Amazon. It's like $5 or $6. It's not very expensive. It's not a very big book. You can pick it up, obviously, a few dollars. It's worth reading because there's an age-old way that media works, whether it's newspaper, magazines, TV, radio. There's always signs around us if we'll just pay attention. I think that's my biggest talent, is take complicated shit, make it real easy. But I call it the media marketing method. If you look at a newspaper, it's like 4 or 5 articles and then a page full of ads, right? If you listen to the radio, it's like 10 or 11 minutes worth of music and 2 or 3 minutes worth of ads, right? If you scroll Facebook, it's 4 or 5 posts from your friends and then an advertisement. YouTube, 2 or 3 videos, an ad. You get the process here, right? But yet we get on social media and we're like, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit. We're constantly trying to cram our stuff down people's throat, or we do the opposite. We never make an offer. But there's a method to this. It's the 80-20 method right before our eyes, right? 80% needs to be content that entertains your audience. No pitch. no business. You know, pictures of my wife and kids work really well. They're all very cute, and it balances out the ugliness of me being in the picture. And, you know, pictures of my employees, us going, I have cars, I like cars, and so we have a lot of cool cars, so pictures of our cars and the things that we do on the road and the famous people that I get to hang out with, right? Like, we showcase all of that stuff, and then about every fourth or fifth post, we'll talk about the results one of our clients get and how you could get those as well. If you notice, I got up here on stage, and I gave you 4 awesome things that were free, and then I pitched my shit. I fucking live my life by this shit. I just realized that. Like I practice what I preach. But you just do the same thing, whether it be on video or anything else, called the M3 method, and every platform uses it. You watch 10 minutes worth of TV, 5 minutes worth of commercial. You listen to 10 minutes worth of radio, 5 minutes worth of commercial. You flip a magazine, 5 or 6 pages, there's a commercial. Like, everything on the planet does that, so it's like obvious that we should be doing it too. You know?
Awesome.
Is that it?
There's one
One
more
more.
question.
Okay, one more.
What's up, Ryan?
I thought we had 2.
What's going on, Ryan?
That 8th grade math kicked in, though, you know?
My condolences about the Spirit Airline experience. I'm just not doing that. Absolutely not. No way. I got 2 questions for you, if you don't mind. First one about the blog. Recommendations about how often you should do it, like maybe per month, monthly. What would you recommend on that? And the second one, you were talking about when you respond to an article in, you know, one of the magazines, and, you know, they'll quote you, whatever. So you would like just take that part, like if they feature you responding to that, you would just post that to your social media. That's what you just what you're responding to, and then your response and your name, correct?
Gotcha.
Okay.
So your second question is, yeah, when Google Alerts sends you the link, I just copy that and share it on Facebook. It's like,
Okay.
oh, hey, I was featured in this. You don't have to say, hey, I went to Haro and I did all this stuff to impress you guys. You don't have to say that, right? You just say, oh, you know what, it's just another day, Forbes talking about me and shit. God, I wish they would get off my case, you know? And, or however you want to do it on social media. But the first thing is, yes, you want to share the link. Not just a snippet, share the whole article.
Okay.
Here's what I like to do, though. I'll give you a little hack. If you'll spend, you know, guys, ladies, don't judge me, but time in the box counts on Facebook, much like your old lady. And some of you guys will get that in a minute. It's funny. It's dark humor, but it's hilarious. I say that every bit. So the longer you spend typing, the more Facebook figures it must be important, or why would you spend so long typing, right?
Right.
And so what I do is I try to type 2 or 3 paragraphs, then I'll upload a photo, and then I'll put the link in there. Because Facebook, they see the link, and they say, oh, you're trying to drive traffic away from our site. We won't show that in the news feed. But if you type for a while, it adds up that time in the box, and then if you add the photo to it, it thinks it's a photo, not a link, so it doesn't generate the preview, and then you can drop the link in it, and Facebook gives it a lot more exposure. So for those of you that do get featured in Haro, that's like the secret formula of showing off those links without. Plus, you have to understand, a lot of people will click the link and not like. So just because you don't get a lot of likes on those posts don't mean that people didn't go and visit it as well. So what was the first question?
Do you actually type the paragraph, send it, and then add the photo?
Yeah, so I type the paragraph first, then I upload the photo, and then I drop the link in last.
But you hit it all at the same time.
Yeah, I don't hit start and then edit it. Yeah, it's all in the same, in that order, though. What was the first
The
question?
first question was about blogging. How often do you think you should send out a blog post?
So here's what I did so I've been blogging since 2011. I opened up hardcorecloser.com in December of 2011, and I did a minimum of 3 a week, but here's how I did it. One of them was my podcast, so I'm doing a podcast anyway. Might as well turn that into a blog. You can do that on Medium, right? It's a double power move, in case you're wondering. I'd make a video on YouTube once a week, and I would turn that into another blog post, right? Just a couple. You only need about 300 words to call it a blog post and for Google to index it in the future. And so 300 words is all you need. I like to write 1,500 words, but I talk a lot if you haven't noticed that from me being up here and being 2 minutes over. And so, the other thing is, and then I write 1 per week. Let me tell you what, the future of communication is writing. I'll say this and end with this. The future of communication is writing. If you don't like to type, if you don't like to write, fuck that. You better get good at it. People ain't getting on the phone anymore. They're reading text messages, they're reading emails, they're doing DM, they're doing chat. I write 6,000 to 10,000 words every day like clockwork for 6 years. I can sell anybody, anywhere, any place, all from text message without ever having to pick up the phone. I did not start out being able to type. 8th grade education here. They don't start teaching typing when I was in school till like 9th or 10th grade. I had to learn how to go from chicken pecking to actually watching YouTube to figure this shit out because I understand when you can write. Right, when I got better at writing, I got better at speaking. I got better at making videos. I got better at face-to-face communication. So you guys need to be practicing writing Facebook posts, practice writing blogs, practice writing emails, text message as much as possible, because we are going away from communication verbally and more communication digitally through typing. So, but that's my time. I appreciate you guys. Remember this. You're supposed to be the most elite version of yourself. Don't leave here and forget who that person is. Leave here and become that person. So thank you guys very much.
Give him a round of applause.